Yeah, that was a good one.
You always sound like Goofy.
Oh, thank you. That's not true. I wish. I dream, like, I'm getting Mickey a lot better, but I'm not getting Goofy. And it makes me sad. Because like, oh boy.
No, don't.
Oh.
Copyright infringement. Don't come after us.
Dang it. Is it copyright infringement that I'm wearing this outfit and I look like Elvira? Chins up, booze
Are you
out?
supposed to be Elvira?
No. We just...
No, that falls in like a cosplay realm.
Well, so does doing a impersonation of Mickey.
No. We don't mess with Disney.
Hello!
That's so nice that it happened organically. It's just a thing that we do now.
I know. It is the thing we do now. I think we're funny.
A gargle and a scream.
Listen,
my memoir.
A gargle and a scream. Oh my gosh. How was your week?
Oh my goodness. What a week it's been. I don't remember anything.
Oh.
It's been good. I went to see your show.
You did. It worked out. Because I wasn't supposed to perform that day.
You weren't supposed to perform that day. Also, usually Desert Star sold out day of. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to get tickets. Usually the whole season is like almost gone.
Yep. It's a very popular theater.
It's crazy to me. But yeah, I guess so. I don't know if someone dropped out last minute or what, but there was a table. Desert Star is a dinner theater, so your seats are tables. Mm-hmm. So when you get 2 seats, you're getting a whole table.
You really are. And they're small tables. Can you imagine being in a party of 4?
Yes, we've done it.
Oh, yeah.
Me, Sarah, Tyler, and Jonathan all went once. And I was like, this is a nightmare.
and if really you didn't get like a pizza to share.
Oh, yeah. They really pack you in there.
Yeah.
If everyone has their own meals, especially, it's bad.
You're like sitting,
yeah,
holding it on your lap.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was a really good show. You did amazing.
You're very kind.
Literally, on the way home, Jonathan and I were talking, and you have a way with taking... I'm not saying the character is bad, or the writing is bad, or whatever, but like you have a way of taking a character that in my mind wouldn't normally work, and making it work. You just have a really good stage presence.
You're very nice. And
you're good at committing to things on stage.
Yeah, it's very nice of you to say. I feel like this one was easier for me. Well, I guess Paulette Babette was her name.
Right.
In the Legally Brunette skit. They were both just impersonations. Like, I played her, and then I played Judge Judy in that as well.
Yeah.
Her name was Judge Trudy.
Right.
And then this one, I'm Morticia and Cruella combined, and then Maleficent. So it's just kind of...
But they're all like almost technically original characters because the shows are written. Each show is written at this theater, so
yeah,
it's like it's a parody show, but it's technically an original show. Mm-hmm. So the characters that you're doing are your own characters essentially.
Yeah, but heavily influenced by characters that have already been like they were. On the character study that I was doing for Cruella, they were like, it is Angelica Houston's Morticia. And I was like, oh, okay. So a lot of my facial expressions and the way that I like slowly turn my head and things and look at people is very, it's very like, like that. Well, for people who are just listening, I turned my head slowly.
Good luck. For people who are just listening, get a YouTube subscription. I don't know. You don't have to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Yeah. Yes, you do. Please. You do have to. Please.
You don't have to subscribe to YouTube, but you do have to subscribe to us.
Yeah.
Your show was lovely.
Well, thank you. I actually really do. Like, I am so glad I'm in this show. I said that last week, too. I got an eyelash in my eyeball. But it's a fun show.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you got to come. I really was surprised.
I was also surprised.
I was so panicked that day too because my double has been sick this week, so I wasn't supposed to be performing.
That's hard.
And then I don't know why I was texting you, or what did you text me?
I think I texted you and asked you if you were. I can't look at my phone right now. I'm not sure.
But
I think I asked if you were performing tonight.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah.
That was the conversation. And then I was texting you about the traffic, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
just so you're aware, you should probably leave early. Because I didn't get to the theater. I had to do my makeup and my wig hair at my office job. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't get to the theater until 20 minutes before curtain. Woo! Yeah. She was cutting it real close. How's work?
Busy.
Yeah.
Any
update on the is it a copywriter position?
Yeah. I don't know. Supposedly I'm supposed to get an interview. It's like kind of guaranteed since the guy asked me to apply. Nothing's set in stone. They haven't really called me in for anything, so I don't know. Not sure what's up with it.
Well, maybe they will after you get back from Disney World.
I hope so.
You're flying out tomorrow?
Flying out tomorrow.
And you're going to be gone for how long?
There until Sunday.
That's a full week.
Mm-hmm. 7 days. Yeah, 7 days.
Well, do you count it being a week since Sunday to Sunday is the week? How does this work?
For my brain, yes.
Okay.
And it's just to make myself feel like I'm more relaxed.
Okay. 7 days in Florida. Do not wear your bangs down. That is my tip and trick. And here's why. Because the one time...
Sticky.
Well, it's the humidity.
Yeah.
The humidity. Mm-hmm. Well, I wore my cute little curtain bangs and like little buns to look like a stylish little lion or whatever.
Yeah.
And the humidity and the heat combined gave me heat rash on my forehead.
On your forehead?
Because my bangs became essentially like this blanket and it was awful. The next day I woke up with hundreds of tiny, tiny little blisters on my forehead.
That's awful.
It was so uncomfortable. And my sweet roommate Sarah, the next day we were going to Fantasyland.
Mm-hmm. And the
Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom
in Disney World.
I've never been.
I had to.
This will be my first time going.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I've only been there once, but anyways, we went to Magic Kingdom and I had to wear a hat and I couldn't wear any makeup because my forehead was so poorly blistered.
Oh.
But okay. You're going to have, if I know you, and I do, if you spend a lot of time in Magic Kingdom, not Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, which is where Pandora is.
Right.
And if I didn't get to see it at nighttime, but I was there in the day, just in the sunlight alone, I cried.
I'm excited to see. I mean, if there's one thing Disney does right, it's like immersive worlds, right? Because when I went to Galaxy's Edge for the first time in Disneyland, I was like blown away. I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
It was really cool.
So I'm really excited because there's more of that type of thing in Disney World, from what I understand, where you get another Galaxy's Edge, you get Pandora, you get kind of those like more immersive worlds.
Yeah, it's glorious. It's so amazing. Oh, and the food in Animal Kingdom blew my mind.
Yeah. I'm very excited about the food. We also got reservations to Space 220. Again, you have this skill of getting in. So I have no idea.
My skill is meeting Broadway people after a show. Your skill
I get reservations at Disneyland restaurants. We did get very lucky.
Bayou.
Yeah, we got really lucky with Blue Bayou last year.
At Disneyland, oh my gosh. I feel like you would be one of those people that really lucks out getting into Club 33 at Disneyland.
But that's like a thing. Like
that's an
invite only
thing.
I won't get into that.
I don't know.
But
I don't know. It's so exclusive that you're not allowed to take pictures inside.
Right. That's why I'm saying there's like no way.
I don't know.
I don't think I'll get that. But yeah, I'm excited about that.
Oh,
what else happened this week?
I can't wait to hear. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I just can't wait to hear your thoughts and opinions on Pandora.
Do you
like those rides? The rides where you're stationary, but it looks like you're in the world? Do you get nauseous on those rides?
I don't get nauseous, but I don't have as much fun on Okay, actually, you know what was really good? We went to Universal a little bit ago. We went to the one in Tokyo.
Yes.
Just barely went to the one in Hollywood, which kind of sucks in comparison.
Florida is better.
But have you been on the ride, the Harry Potter ride in Hollywood?
Yeah.
You're like in a cupboard and you're like floating in a cupboard.
No.
Okay.
Is it new?
So good. I don't know how new it is. I have no clue. We just were going through all the rides and I was like, this sucks. And then we went through Harry Potter World, which is magical and wonderful.
Yeah.
And then got to the ride, and I had never seen this ride. It was not the same one in Tokyo. And I don't know if it's the same one in Orlando. My brain is not functioning today. I'm so sorry.
I think you're doing great. I'm following along perfectly.
But I don't know if it's the same one in Orlando, but it's like you're in a cupboard and there's 4 people seated next to each other.
Okay.
And each of you, so there's just like cars of 4 essentially.
Okay.
And in Disneyland, the like Toy Story Mania ride?
Yes.
Where it like has things that bring you around. Okay, it's kind of like one of those, except for the arm goes in 3 dimensions. So you're in this cupboard and you're on a track and the track is taking you along. And then the arm comes and links you in. And in the story of the ride, they say Wingardium Leviosa or whatever, the cabinet starts floating. You are in the cabinet. You start floating.
You're in the cabinet.
Yeah. So you're floating. And then suddenly you're like going through all this stuff, like, through Hogwarts.
Then I have been on that ride. I didn't realize there's a cupboard.
Yeah. And going through all these intense things. The amazing thing about that ride, though, is like, so you're on an arm that's in like 3 dimensions. You're being like flung around.
Yeah.
Every now and again, you'll go through like a window or something, and then you're in front of a screen suddenly.
Yes, I have been on that ride.
Okay, the screen moves with you on the ride.
What?
Did you know that?
No.
The mechanism is insane. Because I would like leaned forward and started looking around because I was so confused about how it was functioning. Because suddenly there's like a screen in front of you out of nowhere. But it's because there's 2 tracks happening. One is you and the other one is the screen. So like there's a projection and a screen in front of you that's following you along while you're doing certain things.
Genius.
And then when you go through a window or whatever, the screen goes away and then you go through the window. It's crazy. It's wild.
I thought that the screens were there and you just passed by the screens.
No, it's literally traveling with you. Isn't that
That's
crazy?
insane. And
the mechanism is so wild. And then there's like real world elements, like a Dementor comes down and like scares you. It's so crazy.
It gets me every time.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And then the giant spider.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a good ride.
It's a crazy ride.
Are you going to go to Universal while you're in Florida?
No. I'm really upset about how terrible Universal was. Even Nintendo World was not fun in Hollywood. Hated it.
As somebody who's been to both Universals in the States, Florida's is so much better.
But in my mind, I'm
because
like,
of Harry Potter World.
We've already been to Tokyo or the one in Osaka. I'm like, meh.
Well, so the reason why Florida is better is because there's 2 different parks.
Right.
You get Diagon Alley, and then you get
Hogsmeade or whatever.
Yeah. And you're connected by the train. But Hagrid's ride is insane.
That's the same one that was in Osaka. We just didn't go on it because the line was like 3 hours long.
It was very long.
Yeah.
But it's insane. And it's also longer than the one in Osaka.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe one day. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not in it right now.
That's fair.
I'm not in it for Universal right now.
That's fair. You're going to Disney World. There are 4 different lands at Disney World.
Yeah.
Are you going all 4 days? Are you going?
Also,
Smart.
So a land a day, and we're taking it easy. Is the idea? We're not going to try to stuff a bunch of stuff in a day.
Smart.
The hard part is that it's during Halloween, so the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween is happening. So we only get to stay in Magic Kingdom until like 6 o'clock. And then we have to leave.
No.
Yeah. So we don't get to see fireworks or anything.
Is his party happening every night that you're there?
No. But we had already selected everything and we didn't know.
Oh, so you're not going to see Pandora at night.
That's Animal Kingdom different.
Did I hear you wrong? I think I
Sorry,
heard you wrong.
Magic Kingdom is the one that has the...
Okay, I think you did say Magic Kingdom in my head.
I don't know. I might have said whatever.
I think I heard wrong. I think
But
you
we're
said
going to
right.
Magic Kingdom first. And we're doing everything there, and then Animal Kingdom, and then Epcot, and then ending with Hollywood
Oh,
Studios.
there's so many things. Okay. Recommendations. You have to see Pocahontas when you're in Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
You just have to see her. She is everything. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Pandora and the food. Pandora at night and the food.
I'm also very excited for... So it's during the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. So there's like food from around the world that's like specifically for the festival. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited about that.
It's very
To
yummy.
try all the food.
Germany was my favorite.
Oh. We've been keeping up with Disney Food Blog.
Yeah.
So this year they really liked the Japanese one. Mm-hmm. There's like some really good noodle dishes, supposedly. So I'm excited.
Oh, I can't wait because I'm going in November.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. The food. Yeah.
Suddenly a witch appears in front of you.
Take as much time as you can in Epcot.
Yeah. People, you know what?
People rush through it.
People rush through it. Yeah, I've heard that a lot, and it is the one that I think I'm most excited about. Oddly enough,
big ball is there. You have to go in that ride. It's fascinating.
We'll go on that. We're gonna do everything because we also have the reservations to Space 220 there because that's.
Is it in the ball?
It's just in Epcot.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I have no clue where it is.
I was gonna say because the ball is a ride. It takes you. This is how
it's like the progress thing, right? There's something of progress. I think we are doing that.
It's
but Space 220 is just in Epcot somewhere, I think.
Yeah, because if I'm looking at the ball, where the ball is, you have to walk around this way, and then there's the Tron ride, and then there's the space area, and there's a ride in the space area, and I can't remember what it is, but there are two different tracks. There's orange and I think the green one. Do not go on the orange one.
Oh.
One, if you're claustrophobic, you will. I literally almost passed out.
Really?
Because it is such a tight space. They warn you. They had to make another track for it because the orange one was so intense and so many people were getting sick. They also will not let you off that ride. Yeah, it's a combination of virtual and G-force. So you literally there's 4 people and it's fucking tight.
Yeah.
It's a smaller chair than this. And then it comes down and it literally smashes you. So if you have a big chest, like if you're a woman with big bosom,
it's crushing your lungs.
You're 100% stuck. And then if you are easily made sick or like nauseated, whatever, the screen is right in your, I'm not joking, it's right here. And then you have your tasks that you have to do. And then the G-force
so is it
at
like
the same time.
smuggler run thing?
No.
Oh.
Way different.
Weird.
It's way different. You're in space and you have tasks to do, but it's a different, like my eyes.
I like the idea of it being space tasks, but they're all boring. Like, take the trash out. Or like
I would have loved that.
Could you turn this screwdriver?
Could you like maybe walk around the moon? Just pick up the trash on the moon.
Really quickly, empty the waste.
Yeah, empty the waste.
Recycle the water.
Would you go and maybe fill that pothole? Make a new crater on the moon? That'd be great.
Water the plants.
Oh, shoot!
It's just really menial.
I would love that.
Nothing's intense,
but it's intense, and they won't let you off. Even if you ask to get off, they will not let you.
Wow.
It's so if I do your research on that ride. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it is.
Okay.
It's bad. Like as soon as it closed, Sarah immediately realized I was stuck. I was sitting between Sarah and my friend Amber. And immediately Sarah was like, grab my hand and hold it. And she's like, breathe through your nose and out through your mouth. The whole time she was coaching me through. I couldn't open my eyes. And when I did, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't ruin their experience by not doing my task.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to win. So they were like, okay, it's your turn. So I opened up my eyes, like just squinted ever so slightly. I hit the button and I closed it. But the G-forces were still fucking me up. Oh. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Okay.
It was so bad.
Interesting.
But the food in Epcot's amazing, and the Frozen ride.
Yes, I've heard the Frozen ride is really incredible. Mickey's Runaway Railway. I can't remember which one that's in. Is that in Hollywood Studios?
I think that's in Magic Kingdom. Oh. No. It is in Hollywood Studios. Okay. It is. Because it's on the way to Star Wars Land.
I've heard that one, Minecart Train in Magic Kingdom, and Tron Ride in Epcot.
I can't wait to ride that. I have yet to ride it.
Good. I'm really excited. It'll be really
Have you
fun.
been? Did you not go on the Mickey's
It
rail?
wasn't open yet.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank
It
you.
wasn't open yet when we went.
It's
So,
cute. Look for the
excited
Dapper Dans on the ride.
Yeah.
They're really fun. Depending on where you're sitting when it starts, it's so beautiful. But the Dapper Dans are so cute. Their animation is so cute, and they look like dogs. They look like Goofy,
Cute.
and they're all in their suits, and they're riding on a what's a double bike, or there are 4 seats on the bike. What is that called? A tandem bike?
A sidecar? Oh. Yeah.
bicycle?
Tandem bike.
They're all on that, and you just hear them singing, and you're looking around and loving this little world, and you see Mickey and Minnie driving their car, and then all of a sudden you see them, they appear, and then they disappear, and it's the cutest animation I've ever seen.
Cute.
But the colors are gorgeous.
I'm excited. You know, we've been playing a game. It's like Mickey's Illusion Island or something on the Switch. And
That sounds fun.
It's really fun.
I don't have a Switch.
You should make Sarah buy it. But it's really fun, and up to 4 people can play. Me and Jonathan have been playing it, and I haven't loved the new animation as much, but after playing this game, I was like, I'm going to be on board. I think I like it. But yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's also a trackless track.
I love those rides. I love rides like that. The Winnie the Pooh one in Japan was so good.
That was the first time I ever seen one.
They have another one now, too, don't they, in Disney World? The Ratatouille one. Isn't that a track?
There's a Ratatouille ride?
Maybe that's in Paris. I might have deceived you. I need to look it up after this, but
There wasn't one there when I was there in April 2021, but that's
I know
2
that
years
there's
ago.
I know that there's a new one somewhere, but I can't remember if it's in Paris or here.
If there's a Ratatouille... I say I know it's Ratatouille, but I like...
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is how I say it. 'Cause it's a funny bit. But
yeah.
that's exciting.
That's been the week. And then yesterday we got to record some songs for the musical. So demo's coming out soon.
It was
Hopefully.
so fun.
I hope so. It felt crazy to me. So
Yeah.
I feel really bad
Well, I mean,
about
it was
everyone
different
else.
than any other recording session I've ever had. But it was so much fun.
It
And I
was
got
so unorganized.
so hyped. Like I really did. I said this to you downstairs a little bit ago, but I really do feel like I got one of those feelings. It doesn't happen often, but I feel like it was one of those feelings where you knew something good was starting, like the start of something new. And it might be a really
What's that
long
song? This is the start
of something new. It feels so right to be here with you.
What is that from? Is that from High School Musical?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when poor Zac
Something
Efron
reached
had to
into my
be
brain.
dubbed by what's his face.
Yeah, so funny.
So
I love stuff like that. I think it's so funny.
it's so sad because I like Zac Efron's voice more than the other dude.
Oh,
But I recently rewatched that movie, and I was really proud of Zac Efron. He really gave his all to that lip sync
He
battle.
really did. He did. But while we were recording, I think something that I've been thinking about in general, because I'm trying to go through a little bit of a career transition.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that I'm kind of done producing other people's stuff. I want to be able to make my own stuff. I want to write and do stuff like that. So I've been thinking about like how people get into careers that they get into and why. Mm-hmm. And you have like a very interesting string of careers. I know that like there's NDAs and stuff that like prevent you from talking about a lot of stuff with like the park.
Uh-huh.
But your career in general, as far as like acting, as far as like maybe how you got into like management at Evermore, and then like your day job, your job at your
Okay,
company.
well, so I feel like psychologically, people go into the careers that they go into because they are told that you, to be happy, have to make money. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot of reason why people go into like those higher jobs is because, I have to have that 2-car garage and this house and a wife and kids, or a husband and kids, or a husband and kids, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why they go into the careers that they do. But for me, I started out that way. When I graduated high school, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a radiologist. I've always been fascinated. The reason being was because when I was a freshman in high school, the movie Juno came out.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen that film, Juno is a 16-year-old who gets pregnant. And Pergonante. And she goes to a ultrasound to check the health of the baby. All, the normal thing a pregnant woman does. Her mom is there and her best friend is there. And the ultrasound technician asks her basically what her plan is. And they're like, oh, we're going to adopt her out. And she's like, oh, well, thank goodness for that. That's what she says.
Yeah.
Incredibly judgmental.
Yeah.
And that actually was like, I hate that.
I want to be someone that can be a confidant.
Exactly. I was like, I want to be a tech who's excited. And if the mom to be is not excited, then I want to read that situation and be like, okay, well, you are healthy, and just encourage them and let them know that they're doing good. Mm-hmm. I do not want women to experience that. And so I was like, that was kind of my main goal. So when I graduated, I was like, I'm going to go to school for this. Mm-hmm. And then I quickly realized that you have to work really, really hard on memorization of everything. And I struggled with that for some reason. Mm-hmm. But I was still going, and so I started working as a CNA because you needed clinical hours to get into the program. Yeah. And so I started working as a CNA, and then I started realizing that I didn't want to work in the medical field.
What was that feeling like?
What was
what was that? Because
stress, anxiety.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the feeling of anxiety at the time because I was 19.
Because you have because I think that is very a very standard thing where people are try to, a lot of people in my family are like, I'll become a nurse, and they just go right into the nursing field. A lot of people in my family became medical people, mm-hmm.
Which is smart. It's a which is great, good field to be in.
But it is it's like a gut, you have a gut reaction and then go for it. Which, by the way, insane that we're asking 18-year-olds to make that decision. But what was once you realized I don't want to do this, what was your next steps? What was your process?
Well, I had a bunch of jobs in the medical field before I actually figured that out. I worked as a phlebotomist for a really long time, which I will say loved. Yeah. I freaking loved that job.
I feel like the phlebotomists, when I used to, not allowed anymore, to give blood, mm-hmm. we're always having a great time with each other.
I mean, you get to stab people for a living.
Oh. Make them feel pain.
It's not so much that. It's there for me. I just rolled all over the place. Wow, I got super hyped, I guess.
Excited about
phlebotomy. The thing that fascinated me so much was that you have this stick straight needle. Yeah. And veins move. Yeah. And I got so good at it that I was so quick when I would stick that nobody could feel it, which was fascinating to me. But the thing that intrigued me the most is that you could put the needle in, and sometimes you could hit the wall of the vein, and it wouldn't suck correctly, mm-hmm. or you could blow through it. I never did. When I first started learning, I would get to the wall of the vein, and I think I only blew one vein, and it was because I was adjusting for somebody else's stick. Mm. Yeah. And it was fascinating to be I am perfectly in, the vacuum is working and the blood is coming out the way it should. That was fascinating to me. I also at the time was heavily influenced by Twilight, and I really wanted to be a vampire. Yeah. And so I was I am kind of like a vampire. And so on Halloween, I would dress up as a vampire. I would put the gold contacts in. I'd have my fangs and I would sparkle myself up.
Suck people's blood.
And suck people's blood. So I worked in the medical field for a long time. And then I started getting the impression that I needed to go on a mission. So then I went on a mission, and then I came back from my mission, and I was like, okay, I need to continue on with this. So then I was going back to medical school. I was like, this is what I'm doing. But at the time I had just moved here. So this was in 2015. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, we need to do this.
Why'd you come to Utah from Montana?
Because the program I wanted to do was offered here. Okay. And not in Billings. So I was doing it here. And I went 7 semesters in a row, and I burnt myself out. And I haven't been back since.
It'll kill you.
Yeah. It was rough. And so I started getting this I started auditioning for the Hales, and I've always loved theater, like just always. And so I started auditioning for the Hales, and I got my first callback for
Annie, right?
No, my first show there was Mermaid. She's a matchmaker. She's a
matchmaker.
Yeah, she's a matchmaker. Oh my gosh, they just did it at the Sandy Hale, and I watched it recently. Oh my gosh, oh my goodness, I'll think about it. But I got my first call back, and I was really, really excited about that. And then I got into Little Mermaid a couple months later.
Okay.
And I had done my first show back was Hairspray at the Sierra.
Oh, okay.
After my mission. And so I did that, and I was like, okay. And then I got into the Hale and started making all these connections. And I was like, well, maybe I need
it feels good when you start to, like, in the entertainment world, when you meet someone and then it just, like, links. It's crazy.
In 2018, I was in a show. I had gotten offered another show to come on audition for Footloose or not Footloose, Oklahoma at it's in the mountains, Sundance.
Oh yeah.
And then I also got offered another show to go, at the amphitheater. And then I got offered another show to go and do in Wyoming. And so I was like being talked to by a lot of people, and I was like, oh my gosh. But I was also getting this thing like, I need to get a degree. What should I get a degree in? And all these people were like, you need to go and audition. I was invited to audition for the MDT program at BYU.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. So I went and I auditioned. I obviously didn't get it, which was fine. But I started talking to a bunch of people. Clay was involved in this conversation, his friends who were in the acting program at
Clay is one of your best friends.
Yes.
Best and oldest. Mm-hmm.
And they kept telling me, well, the program is really more about the connections that you make. Like, yeah, you
Absolutely.
learn a lot of stuff. They give you a lot of materials and resources, and but it's about the connections. And then I started quickly realizing that, okay, well, at the time, and I briefly touched on this in a couple episodes ago, but at the time, my voice teacher was an MDT program graduate. She had all of these connections. And then I started working with equity actors at the Hill and taking classes from them. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Why does it matter then?
Why does it matter? And then in 2018, at the same time, Evermore Park was opening up. And I had a friend that I was in Hairspray with who was like, you need to reach out to Tannah. Because they were looking for a singer specifically. And they were like, oh, okay. She could possibly be one of our ghosts, like a haunted ghost, like walking around the town.
Yeah.
And so they called me in and they were like, let's do this. And then they quickly were like, yo, we can't have you this season, but we're going to bring you on next season, but you're going to start coming to our meetings and all this stuff. So I started doing all of that.
So when was the point when you're like, okay, this medical I'm performing?
Well, I think honestly, when I got done in the 7th semester, when I burnt myself out, because I math is not my strong suit, and you do have to have a lot of math credit to graduate from the degree I wanted, which was radiology. Mm-hmm. And I struggle with math. It is the hardest. Like I was like, okay, maybe I could do it if I just take the math class. Just take my math credits, and that's the only class I take that semester, and I could be okay. I couldn't do it.
I have the same problem. I don't know. Jonathan all the time is like, no, you could be a web developer. It's easy. That's what Jonathan does.
Yeah. And
I truly don't think I can. My brain does not process logic correctly. Like I don't know what it is.
Creative mind?
I don't know what it is. I think I'm an idiot is what it is. But
incorrect. You're one of the smartest people I know.
But my brain just doesn't compute when it comes to like math. Mm-hmm. Like fractions immediately gone.
I am the same way.
Is the moment we dipped our toes in calculus, my brain exploded. I literally couldn't handle it. Are you okay?
Yeah, I hang now.
Okay.
And I ripped it, and now it's a little bloody.
Bloody.
Yeah.
But yeah, same way. Even at BYU, I took the like remedial. So I was in the film program.
Yeah.
So luckily, not a lot of math. but you have to take a college level math class. Mm-hmm. I took the like basic, most remedial math class literally at the end of my college career because my counselor was like, you have to take a math class. And I was like, I don't want to.
Math is not
And,
easy.
but she was literally like, okay, this new math class opened up for creatives, for creative degrees. And it's literally just like addition to fractions. Like so
Geometry.
easy. And then I bought the book and found out everything was in the book. And there's no exams in this math class. So I was literally like, great, this is perfect.
That sounds like the perfect
That's
math class.
done.
Please let me take it.
So,
Because I enjoyed
never did math
multiplication and division, and
well.
I liked
I even
that.
hate that. I don't like any of it. I think my brain just doesn't work like that. But
That's fair.
Anything
Anything past that, though, I just can't.
Yeah, it's really bad. Get the alphabet out of here. But
Seriously, though, X equals this, figure out what X is, and I'm like,
and I do think I did okay in algebra.
that was fun.
But
was
like,
fun when I
but
figured that out.
fractions and pre-calc, I was like, I can't do this. I literally can't.
Can I be honest? I don't even know what goes into pre-calc. What do you...
No clue. And honestly, those guys for making that.
I remember... It was the time that we were growing up, but I remember teachers being like, you will need math the rest of your life.
And there's not going to be a calculator in your pocket. Yeah, there is.
It's called a cell phone.
There's a calculator in everyone's pocket. Sorry, I'm getting really heated all of a sudden. You know what's even better? I can ask ChatGPT what the answer to a problem is.
Yeah.
Johnny has 6 apples. ChatGPT knows.
Oh, ChatGPT, we miss you, buddy. But yeah, that was after 7th semester is when I did it. But I was
Really
also
proud.
working my first job back from my mission. I was working at a credit repair law firm, and then I moved from that to a pharmacy.
As what? Can you say?
A salesperson.
Oh, at both?
And I'm not good at sales.
At pharmacy and at
So I
place?
worked for Progression with
So-
Nex.
So was this just like I need a job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and my best
So it was
friend
like a
Clay,
call center? Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
it was a
interrupting
call
you.
center.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're good. And that's what we sold packages for credit repair.
Yeah, I would suck at that.
And I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you'd be so good at it. And I'm like, I'm not a liar. And
Right, that's the
you
issue.
You do kind of have to lie to sale.
And even if it's not a lie, it's like
Not sale, AIL, but
even if it's not like an actual lie, it's like not telling the truth.
correct.
Like someone is going to ask you a question and you have to say, "Oh, maybe," or whatever. But I would be like,
Entirely
"Yeah,
possible.
probably."
Looking at your credit, I think that you could what's the word? You could
Looking at your credit, I think you're and I'm here to take advantage of that.
looking at your credit, I think that you could be eligible for this. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
whatever. And then I moved from there to a call center for a company called PillPack, where I think this is actually a really genius thing, and it's for older people who you usually have to sort your pills for a week, and PillPack sorts your pills for you.
Did something draw you to these careers, or did you just jump into these jobs?
So
because they're
Clay's
available?
roommate worked at Progression, and that's how I got my in. And then one of the people that worked at Progression wasn't doing well, and so she went and got another job, and she told me about PillPack. And then PillPack turned into this. At the time, I enjoyed customer service, and so they created a new job for me to be the person that would call and check in on people.
Okay.
And I hated it. It like after a while, it was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Because usually in those calls, that's when you would lose the client because they'd be like, oh, I've been doing it for a long time and I don't need it anymore. And I'm like, yeah, but you're 89. Like,
Right.
what? You do need this. But I couldn't save it because I'm not a salesperson.
Yeah.
And then they moved to Salt Lake, and I was living way too far away from Salt Lake at the time. And if I'm honest, even where I live now, I would still not drive all the way to Salt Lake for work. It's a 45 to an hour drive, and then with traffic on top, no, sorry, I can't. Because I have a dog and I care.
Yeah.
And then after PillPack, I went to another call center and worked there for a little while, and ended up, that was in 2018, I left there, but I was being so emotionally abused and so stressed out about the job that my heart, liver, and kidney started to fail. And I was 26. How old was I? I was 28 in 2018. The health problems started in 2017 when I was working for them. And then I was in a musical called Annie. Mm-hmm. And my best friend, JD, my best theater buddy. He was my man in chair when I was drowsy. His brother owns...
Great man in chair, by the way.
the best I've ever seen, if I'm
He's really
honest.
good.
Rivals the guy I saw on Broadway.
He's really fabulous. He's done it a few times now.
4 now.
4 times?
Yeah.
And
PG Players is doing it next year.
He internalizes the dialogue so well.
He does.
He really gets it.
He is the man in chair.
He gets the
though.
show. Yeah.
Like, but I was in rehearsals for Annie, and people were noticing how sick I was and sad and depressed, and because I'm not that kind of person. Like when I get stressed out, and then I sleep it off and then I'm fine. Or like I talk to somebody, therapy is a good thing. But this one wasn't going away, and I was getting sicker and sicker, and it was awful. I remember that my medications to try and help me were making me so ill that my rigor mortis was setting in. My hands would turn in on each other, and Sarah had to take me to the emergency room. It was awful. It was so awful.
Oh my gosh.
And so it got to the point where I was like, I want to work for this company, and background checks are fascinating to me. Like I'm like, what do you do?
When you were jumping in these kind of jobs, were you like thinking about like, what is my career? What is my thing?
No.
Or was it just like,
job
I just need
security?
jobs?
It was job security, because tag is my number one thing.
Yeah.
And making sure that he has food and shelter.
Yeah.
That literally is my dog is my motivation for everything.
Yeah.
But also, at that point I'd never been so depressed in my life.
Yeah. So that's like survival.
Yeah.
Is getting a new job.
Because they told me that I use my superpowers for evil. That is the exact quote they told me. Because the whole reason why things got so bad was because they made some choices. They demoted me and did all these things. They made me a manager, and then they demoted me, and that really f***ed you up.
Yeah.
And then they gave me a team of 1. And I ended up scratching my cornea with an eyelash. And that day that I had to leave, and that day after I'd left, my one team member, they said, was so happy. And they noticed it was because I was gone. That's what they blamed it on. She later said, that's entirely bullshit. It's because we got to have a pizza party.
Jeez.
Anyways, so they called me into the office, and I was wearing my bedazzled eye patch. And they told me that I... have been so negatively influencing my one team member, and that I was using my you are using your superpowers for evil. And I was like, wow. Guess
you don't need me.
And so it was at that point that I was like, okay, I need to find a new job. And so JD was like, hey, you should apply for this. And now I love what I do, but I will say a lot of things have happened at the background screening company job that it's like,
it's still
after 5.5 years, I'm like, wow, this is really sad. Like sometimes it's really hard to go to work. I'm grateful I have my own office, so I can just stay by myself and have tag.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part, is that I can bring
take your
tag,
dog.
and I really do like what I do.
Yeah.
It's fun and
good.
Sometimes emotional because of the charges that you read, but yeah. As far as your question about like why I'm in the careers that I'm in.
Yeah.
For the park, it was because some things happened that morally myself and my coworker could not watch happen anymore.
Can't talk about that a ton.
I can't talk about that. No, but also one of my really good friends was my boss.
But you just got, so at Evermore, you started out as a performer.
Yeah.
Did you have any ambition of like delving further into Evermore as a performer?
No.
And like get higher in the company?
No,
you didn't care about it.
not at all.
You're just like, give me a check.
Paycheck. Yeah. It was,
Did it scratch any kind of performing itch? Like
yes.
Okay.
For a while it did.
Career-wise, for you, do you feel yourself drawn to like, I want to be a performer. I want to be. So it's like searching for ways to get there.
I like making people laugh. And I also like leaving my life behind for a little bit. There's a freedom that comes from it. But no, I didn't want that. And then when COVID hit, the park really struggled. And then they also had a third, it was the third turnover. And so they asked my previous boss and her husband, who was our boss.
Are you allowed to talk about this?
take over. And so they asked me to be their casting director, and that's how I got into the management portion of it. Because when
to take
COVID,
care of some of the staff.
Yeah.
There's a few things that happened, maybe dropping the balls staff wise, that you wanted to fix, or they wanted you to fix.
No, it was just new management had come in at the time in 2021, and they were like, we need someone to help us with casting. Can you help us with this? And I was like, yeah.
Tannah, by the way, incredible casting director.
You're very kind.
Because you know people, and people like working with you. That's, and like in a very real way, like you draw people into projects really well. So like we just recorded the demos. Most of the people that we got were people that you just knew.
Yeah.
That were willing to work with you because they love you.
Yeah, but also there's that intrigue too. Like, this is a new musical, and the subject matter is what it is. Like, and it's also paying. Like, there's a lot of factors.
Not a lot.
But there's that possibility, especially because a lot of the people out here in the theater world do have that ambition of like, I want to see if I can make it to Broadway or make it to films.
Does that like do something for you in what you want to do? Sorry, this is becoming like, what do you want to be when you grow up? But does that do anything for you for career ambitions, like casting director?
So the reason my friend offered me that job was because when COVID hit and the park really struggled, and then the third management team, whatever, we would talk on Marco Polo every day, and we would talk about what our dreams were. And I really do want to work for Disneyland in casting, or just the Disney Corporation. I want to do that so bad, because something that I've noticed is that they've been, and this might be because there's just not a lot of people that look like the princesses anymore.
Sure.
But they used to cast people that looked like them, and now they're getting to the point where they don't. Like, they have similar features, but I just recently saw a picture of a girl who was Anna and looked nothing like her. And they used to cast people that really, really looked like the characters. And they don't do that anymore.
Do you feel like that's a bad thing?
I think it's just disappointing because of their brand. I don't care, but Belle, it's almost like when somebody changes the animation on a character, say Scooby-Doo, the way that they were drawing Scooby back in I think it was 59 when it came out, 1959. Fact check me on that. I don't
Close
know.
to the 60s, for sure.
His animation was this way, and then in the 90s they started doing it differently, and he just looks slightly off. Candyland, the game Candyland was a perfect example of this. The Ice Princess, they changed her animation, and it really changed the nostalgia and my love for the game. And so I think that's one of the things I'm like, I want to meet the character that you have given me for so long. And so that was something that I was like, I want to work in this, but I also just really love casting somebody in a role and being like, I know that you can play this role, but I also feel like you're going to take it and make it something really completely, like 10 times better than what I could imagine.
You know why I love you for a casting director? Even as a performer, who was I talking to about this?
Jonathan, probably.
It was someone else. It was someone who has performed with you.
Oh. Lauren?
It might have been
Yesterday?
Lauren. It might have been Lauren. I can't remember.
I love her so much.
Who was it? I don't think it was actually. But it was someone who had performed with you. I can't remember who. And I was just talking about you as a performer and how wonderful you are. And someone was like, Tannah is like the most charitable performer. Because there are people that perform for themselves and not for theater. You know what I mean? You know what the difference, like the difference of like someone who is performing to be self-indulgent and someone who's performing to make art. Yeah. And they talked about how you were just the perfect example of a charitable performer. Oh, it was Becca who we were talking about it with.
I've never performed with Becca.
I mean, you just did. We recorded a bunch of stuff. And you and her, like, doing little improv scenes together as we were rehearsing and things like that. She's like, Tannah's like an amazingly charitable performer because you're not performing for yourself. You're performing for the character. You're doing things for the character and you're doing things for other people's character. Like like acting needs to be this thing where you're helping each other build something.
It's a partnership.
And you have to really trust people and like really, really, to be a charitable performer is to build other people up as you're performing. And there's not a ton of people that do that really well. Anyways, I think that's why I love you for casting too, because you're such a charitable performer. You very much prefer to see people succeed along with yourself, but like everything that you do on stage is to like bolster people up. Even like watching you at the Desert Star was like, you're very much making jokes to toss at people. You're doing things to help other people with their character all the time. All the decisions you're making.
I'm glad that you see that. I'm constantly worried about being a scene stealer because everyone's like, "Oh, you're a Leo. They just want the limelight." And I'm like, I would love the limelight, but I want to do it with other people.
Right. I think it comes across very well when
that's
you do
good. That. Thank you, Becca. I know you listen to this, so thank you so much. I'm looking at you in the camera if you're only listening.
But that makes me happy that's like an ambition that rose and you kind of got the opportunity a little bit to taste
and
that.
now I'm like, how do I do this? Because I don't have a degree. That was one of the things that I was worried about.
You know what? People ask me all the time for film, like, should I go to film school?
Yeah.
And the only time I say yes is like, if you can work while you're going. Because when
work in the field?
In the field.
Okay.
Because when I went to film school, I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to learn a lot of like theory and whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Stuff that you wouldn't really do on your own.
Yeah.
But I would not have enjoyed or gotten as much out of it if I had not been also working on set all the time. And BYU
that's a good
hates
formula.
That.
What?
So like I had a 4.0 in my degree. So like you have your like your effective
4.0?
GPA 4.0, like 4.0
Oh.
GPA. So you have your effective GPA, which is like in your degree, and then you have your overall GPA. Overall was like not as good. It was still like 3.7 or whatever. But
not
like,
as good. I would have died to have that in high school. I was around the 2.7s.
Not in high school. In high school I had a 3.0.
Wow, it's still better than me.
And then I went to college. Actually, I think by the end I was like in 2 something. I failed 2 classes in my last semester in high school. I almost didn't graduate. The whole thing.
Stress.
Anyways, but then I went to Weber State, got straight A's there, and I think that's maybe how I got into BYU. But because BYU is not super easy to get into.
I did not know that you went to Weber.
For
how long?
just a year.
Okay.
Just before my mission, and then I came back and went to BYU.
Yeah.
But anyways, my effective GPA was like straight A's, all my film classes, which I understand. It's a creative field. It's not that hard. Okay. I'm not trying to tout my intelligence in making videos.
Well, I want to say something about that really quickly. There is this common misconception where people believe that the creative fields are not as challenging. They are. You go to a Broadway show, you tell me, do you think you could do that? Not you, but I'm just saying people out there who judge the creative fields. You could not do that because you don't have you're not as creative-minded individual.
People don't understand that it's a different kind of energy.
Exactly.
Like, and yeah, I'm agreeing.
It takes a lot
I'm fully
of work.
agreeing with you here, but I also understand that I'm just making videos all day. I'm not like doing rocket science. But whereas some people, the logic is like the part that's really intense for them, and they use a lot of their logic brain, and a lot of that. Yeah. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, it is a lot of energy.
To do the creative side it's a lot of energy.
Yeah. And you're good at it.
We'll find out.
You are.
But anyways, what was I saying? Holy crap. Oh, people always ask me if I should go to film school.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I did well in film school, but I started working. And so I would skip class and go work. There were times when I was called to like go to Canada and work on commercials. So I went to Canada and worked on commercials.
That's amazing.
And because of that, they dropped me several letter grades. So I ended up with maybe like a 3.5.
Who gives a You still got a degree.
Well, I know. But I'm just saying it's very frustrating to be in an environment that does not want you to be working in the field that would be more important than
I find that
the education.
Fascinating.
Because truly, BYU did nothing for me as far as like education.
It was more about connections, yeah?
It was about, I had the opportunity, I met Babetta there, not in school, but because of BYU.
Yeah.
And Lauren and Tess and those guys. So like
Yeah.
very key people in like like jumpstarting my career.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
very
connections.
much. Yeah, absolutely. And so it's very frustrating when that's why I'm like, when you're like, oh, maybe I should still have a degree. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the gentleman that I work for at the park is a millionaire, and he has said a few times to me that he was like, I don't have a degree either, but look what I've done. He has had multiple
Successful businesses, yeah,
and sold them for lots and lots of money, and he's a very smart creative.
Yeah, I think that definitely.
But
Yeah.
Can we just quickly circle back to the fact that BYU doesn't like you to work while you're learning? Yeah. They did the same thing to MDT program. You can't do a show until your senior year in that program.
Stupid.
And I don't understand, because personally, wouldn't you want some experience whilst learning?
You know, even the way that like student capstones work there is really weird, because you only do a senior capstone. And you can only make your short film as a senior, and only if the faculty approves it. So it's like either you pitch it to the staff, and hopefully you sucked up to them enough for them to pick you as the senior that gets to do it. Only 2 capstones get made a semester.
What?
And so
why? Is it like a equipment lack of equipment thing?
No.
Is it?
It's because it sucks there.
I'm intrigued. Well, okay, so this begs a question then for you. Like, yeah. I'm genuinely curious, talking about careers. Did you grow up I'm pretty sure I met you when I was a little kid. Because when I stayed with my cousins for 2 weeks, I would go and hang out with Travis with his friends.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you were there.
I wonder if we were. That would be crazy. I honestly wasn't super great friends with Travis after elementary school.
That was when I stayed.
And I was only okay friends with him then. So it could go either way. I did go to his house a few times, though.
And I went to a party, and there were a lot of little kids, like a lot of kids our age there.
Did I go to a birthday party with him?
I don't know if it was a birthday party or not, but I remember there were horses and... Yeah.
Maybe you came to my house.
It might have. I don't know. But did you grow up always wanting to be in the film?
So if you dig in the internet, there's a lot of videos of me and my friends made when we were kids. Like in the very early days of YouTube. So we were always like making stuff. And I think a lot of kids did.
Sure.
Truthfully. So we were always making stuff, and I think growing up, I always assumed, I remember one time I was like, I'll be an artist, or like, I think one time I was like a soccer player. That was a bad idea.
That's cute. That's really cute though. Little Jace running around hitting a ball.
Yeah.
Or kicking a ball.
Kicking.
Soccer?
Well, I did play goalie.
That is very impressive to me. I feel like that all
concussions.
Positions are...
That's where my concussions
you hit a pole. You hit a pole. I think that and a catcher are the hardest positions.
It's scary.
All of them are hard, but you have...
It's like a lot of weight to carry, yeah. It was really stressful. That's why I don't play sports a lot in general, is because I like the anxiety for me gets... I don't like competition anxiety. Even playing like board games sometimes, I'm like... I don't like the anxiety that comes from the competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. That's why I don't like Disney villains or villainous or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
that game's fun because of the art, though. I just love looking at everything.
The art is beautiful. Yeah.
So I've been trying to tune that back though, because Jonathan really likes board games and stuff, and a lot of my friends do. Yeah.
We do love to play board games.
Yeah. So I try to play, and we play a lot of co-op games to make it easier, but yeah. So I definitely didn't visualize it as a career because it felt not attainable. I
right.
think.
Because of the culture in which we grow up. Like, you need to have this to be happy.
Or you have to be like you have to have a real job, kind of a thing.
And a real job is being a lawyer.
And
or a doctor.
my parents, I don't think were ever like that because maybe partially because all of my parents are from, like, I come from nothing.
Sure.
Like, my mom is a teacher and my dad is a firefighter, paramedic, which is nothing. But my dad's family is like very artistic, but none of them have done anything really with it. No one's famous. No one's like,
Sure.
They should be. My grandma's paintings are wild. And my aunt, there's one in our house. I'll show you. But my aunt has some incredible paintings, artwork. She makes jewelry, but like no one's famous, because they all knew that they had to get another job. They knew that they had to support a family.
Yeah.
And I think it was never my goal to have a family. I think deep down I was like, I don't want kids. That seems crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was until high school that I was like, oh, this is a job. This is real. Because I got into, they have like the news program or whatever for your high school.
Cool.
So I got into that, and my teacher there was Mr. Smith. Shout out. Was like so good about stuff like that. He could see, because I would like go into like the video production 1 or whatever class, and he would be like, "You're way better than everyone else." Because I'd been doing it for so long.
Sure.
Like, I know how editing works. I know how lighting works. I know how.
But you also have an eye for it. Like, you can have the technical skills for it, but having the like you can learn that.
Sure.
But you have the creative eye for it, which I don't feel like a lot of people do.
And I think that that's something that's developed too, though. And I think I like, even subconsciously as a kid making dumb YouTube videos, you're learning things about like, oh, why didn't this like make sense when I cut from here to here? Or like, why didn't it make sense when they were here in the frame? Or how come it sounds bad? Or how come it looks bad?
Yeah.
And then you just start to tinker with those things as a kid. So like subconsciously you're just learning fundamentals. And then when you actually put names to those fundamentals in classes, it's like, oh, that's what that was.
Interesting.
And then you're able to like, once you've made that connection, then you're able to consciously implement it instead of like, oh, how do I make this look better?
You're just playing around, messing around, finding like a happy accident stumbling upon it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in high school, I was like, oh, I could be like a news person or whatever. So then at Weber State, I got into some multimedia classes, some video classes. Andrew Tyler was a professor at Weber State who was like very instrumental in like helping me into like a film-esque career. But I knew I wouldn't be able to stay at Weber State because they don't have a program.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Interesting.
It's a communications program. I think they might now.
Oh.
But back then they did not. So went on a mission, on a whim, applied to BYU. Got in. They have surprisingly, one of the largest film programs in the West. So they have more.
Brigham Young University.
They have more equipment in their equipment house than any other school in the West.
Is that because of BYU
including
TV?
USC. You would think so. No, they have their own equipment. They don't rent anything from BYU TV.
Is it because of the culture of Utah where it's very arts driven? Like you can take a musical theater class here in high school.
I don't think so. I don't know what it is, truly. I don't know how it happened. I think they just have a lot of money.
Yeah, Mormons. Yeah.
So students would like they had one of the first Reds when it came out, Red cameras.
Which is, I know about that because.
So a Red camera is like the first digital consumer camera. The digital consumer cinema camera. Like it's the first camera that people use on movies that is like attainable for Joe Schmo. It's still like I don't know, it's like $17,000 when they first came out, but compared to a cinema camera that's over $100,000, it's pretty attainable. So, anyways, yeah, applied there on a whim, and then I was like, oh, I can act. So it was kind of a culmination of things where I was like, oh, I could do film.
Okay. Do you enjoy it?
But now, you know what? No. That's not true. I enjoy being creative.
Right.
And I enjoy watching something that I create come to life. I think partially because of the anxiety stuff that I talked about and like really driven in that way.
Yeah.
I've started to hate being on set. It's just so much work for one little guy.
Well, see, that's it. It's being overutilized and underappreciated.
And when I was working at like Studio C and BOI TV for a lot of their shows, I was doing so much. And I was doing so much stuff that was not creative. I was making other people's creativity come out. You know, that kind of thing. Which is very, after a while, it gets pretty, unless that's something you want to do, if you want to be the type of person that lets be other people be creative, which those people exist, and I'm thank goodness for those people.
Yeah.
But it's just not me. It sucks so much out of your soul.
Because you're seeing other people's dreams come true, and then you're also like, well, I also have these things that I want to do. Why can't I find someone who is the me to them?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I got a full-time job as a producer because I was like, I'm not liking this anyways. I might as well do this in a consistent way and get paid more for it.
Yeah.
With benefits.
Yeah.
So I got that job, and now I think I'm like, you know what? I'm a writer.
And he's a damn good one.
I'm not a good producer. I'm not that organized. My brain just doesn't function. Like, I can do it, and I think I've attained skills. Mm-hmm. I've attained.
Yeah.
You know,
Gained, whatever.
I've gained skills that assist me a lot and stuff like that, but now I'm like, kind of like the medical field thing where I was like, it wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I would rather be the one that makes those things happen instead of...
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But it's also at the same time one of those things that was kind of like a necessary evil, because then it helped show you the things that you don't enjoy, but also kind of spotlighted the things that you do enjoy, which help you get to the point of, I am a writer. And
I'm so grateful that I can... I've had a lot of really unique opportunities to participate in the industry.
Yeah. And
I'm super grateful for that. Mm-hmm. It was just like something where I'm like, I don't know, something just changed mentally where I was like, I think I've paid my dues. I think I'm ready to move up. What
did you do on the set of Midsommar? Is it Midsummer or Midsommar? How do you say it?
I don't care.
Okay. What was the other one you worked on?
Movie? Hereditary.
Yeah. Hereditary. What did you do for those two films? Hereditary is so good.
I was an office production assistant.
Okay. What is that?
An office assistant. So, for the Utah unit. So I don't even appear in the credits because no one cares about my job. So like, yeah, isn't that funny? So the producers, they have a Utah unit. Hereditary was filmed here, but Midsommar, obviously a lot of it was filmed in like Budapest, I think.
Wherever the actual thing
I don't think it was the actual place. I think it was like Budapest, Hungary, instead of, I can't remember where it takes place. That movie is a blur. But they did a lot of pickup stuff. So a lot of the stuff in like their apartment while they're still in the US, and a lot of stuff like they're at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. There's a murder-suicide that happens at the beginning of the film.
Intense.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you a story about that.
Oh, that was a good callback to Jonathan's
joke. Yeah.
Very intense opening scene, I'm just saying.
And so all of that was filmed here. Mm-hmm. So there's a Utah unit producer, his name's Scott Chester, who is lovely. He does a really great Pee Wee Herman impression. I have to show you a video of him reading the Book of Mormon as Pee Wee Herman.
I would love to see that. I love Pee Wee Herman.
Paul Rubin. He was Paul Rubin's assistant for like many years when he was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why he
told a bunch of stories? Yeah. So in Pee Wee's Big Adventure, the movie, there's this, I can't remember which scene it is, but there's a scene where Paul Rubens was not available to come and do voiceover.
So he did it?
So he just did it. It's my favorite thing. Anyways.
Did you know Pee Wee Herman and Elvira were best friends?
I'm not surprised by that. That feels
they started
like
together.
a duo.
They started their thing together.
But yeah, so the Utah producers were in an office getting stuff ready. So I was there like helping coordinate like set dressers, scenic designers,
Extras, right? Didn't you do that a little bit?
Know that there were any extras in Midsummer. I did meet Florence Pugh. By me, I mean I was in the same room. Obviously, I was not. I was told not to talk to her, but it's just film culture. It's like a weird thing. I'm positive that she would not have cared. She was really nice.
That's a culture in theater too.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Like ushers,
like
not to.
If I am a performer, talk to me. I don't care.
100%.
If I ever become a famous person, like I'm famous because you decided I'm famous.
Yeah.
Like I owe my career to you. So it's like, you can talk to me. Don't be a dick, obviously. Yeah. And I will call my security if you're a dick.
And also respect boundaries. But
I'm so happy to like talk to people.
Yeah.
Cause like anyways, she was very nice.
I 100% think that makes total sense. Just watching her in any of her interviews, I'm just like, she are a very delightful human being.
Yeah.
Her and Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to meet her. Because she seems like that type of person that, like Aubrey Plaza, where you're like not sure how much of a character she is.
I think Aubrey Plaza is 100% a character. Which makes her a fantastic actress. She brings on oh my gosh, for all intents and purposes, a normal person.
Did you see her in White Lotus?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
She's so good. Her in White Lotus is crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Her and Will Sharp together, nuts.
That character is completely opposite of her as a human being, which in my opinion makes her an incredible actor, because it's not easy to play a straight-laced character like that.
She's so good. Anyways,
because it's boring, and a lot of performers want those really fun, creative.
Have you seen the video of her where she's like on Good Morning America or something because she wrote a book?
No.
And she wrote like a children's book or something, and then she came dressed as the character, and like it's very funny. I need to show you the video because it's my favorite thing in the world.
Her and Jennifer Coolidge, I would die to meet.
Oh my gosh,
absolutely die.
I think
Johnny Depp too, but
I like that.
Yeah, I think that was interesting.
But, yeah, I liked this little discussion about.
So do you feel like you're like on the right path now? Like now that you've recognized this, and like, what are you imagining for yourself?
It's really sad.
Oh.
But it's like at this point where I'm like, I feel like I'm so close, but like I'm like so close to a breakthrough on something, but it's not there. And I felt very close for a long time, and it's frustrating to be close. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I feel like if I could figure out the one right thing or the one right decision to make, I would be in the industry, and I would be a writer. I would be in the TV writer's room or something.
Yeah, you have to have multiple projects to do that though. And you have to be willing to put in the time and effort.
It's so luck based.
It is very luck based.
It's a lot of hard work, and I understand that there's a lot of hard work involved, but you can't discount the amount of luck that has to take place.
100%.
I feel better about trying. Yeah, I'll say that.
Because I'm just saying the Kickstarter for After Us, that people want that content. Same with, I'm sorry, I don't know if you noticed this yesterday when we were in the recording studio, but people were very excited.
I was way too stressed to pay attention.
Okay, let me tell you the perception that I was getting. I've obviously known about this project for a while, but these people that came in to be ensemble or supporting characters, whatever, in these recordings, were getting so excited and so intrigued about the possibility of this new work. One, because it's a new work. It's not a revival or a remake or a live action, whatever. It's new. So there were 9 people in there, I think.
8.
Well, 9 including
Brendan.
Brandon.
Mr. By the Way.
Shout
out.
I really like him.
I love him.
Like I don't know.
I'm so happy that he let us. He was telling me after we recorded, he's like, I would never record this many people in this room, but because you asked me, I did it. And I was like, that's so nice, but please tell me no. I don't want to take advantage of your kindness. Tell me no if it's a no. But he's so nice. And
I love him.
Like, he's the only one that I would trust to tell me, like, no, this doesn't work. Like, you need to record it this way, or you need to do it this way.
He's an
him to
amazing
death.
human being.
He's so good.
And I've only met him twice. But that was something else that I wanted to talk to you about too. But just the excitement that these 9 people were feeling from the sound, just the orchestration on John's end, the lyrics from you, the energy. People were very hyped. You're doing what you should be doing. And you just have to, it's tiring. It's so tiring, but you just have to keep going. Because Samuel L. Jackson talks about this on a regular basis, but his career didn't take off until he was in his 50s.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton, and I understand that, like, there's a ton of people. I don't think I have that anxiety of, like, I'm 30.
Sure.
I think it's like, I really like where my life is.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I really like where my life was, and I want to make stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel right now. Because I know that there's, like, your Tina Feys, your Samuel L. Jacksons, your...
Will Ferrell's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who just didn't get started until they were in their 30s, 40s, 50s.
And that's the prime. Like, you can be young. When you're young and you start in the industry, you, like, 95% of the time will end up...
You burn out.
burning out.
It sucks. It's
drug
hard.
abuse, alcohol abuse, struggling because you don't know how to hold your own in that situation.
In my mind, anytime you make it work, that's your prime. That's your prime, baby.
Oh,
Go
interesting.
For it. I'm just the type of person that's like, your prime is when you do it. Your prime is when you want it to be.
Interesting.
Because people are so, like, I don't know. People are like, oh, I'm past my prime. Like, go do it.
Prime in the sense of, like, it's the smart time to do it. Because you've matured. Your brain has fully matured. You know yourself. And you can put that work in, that time and effort in. Whereas when you're in your late teens, early 20s, and sometimes even into your 30s, you're kind of like, let me just try all these things, and then it can go down a dark path.
I understand what you mean.
Right? Interesting.
But
that's interesting. Mr. By the way, though,
yeah,
I think he's the coolest person that I have met in a very long time. Because when we were there recording for Barbara and Kenneth, he was so encouraging and respectful. Yeah. I was not there for a very long time. It only took me 2 takes, but this time around, he could tell I was getting frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
Because though I've been working the songs, I was not performing the way that I normally do. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to myself performing, especially when I'm on someone else's time and money.
Sure.
I'm like, you need to get this right. Because it's just, I feel like it's really unprofessional and disrespectful. But he was so encouraging. Yeah. And then he would banter back. I hit the microphone. He would banter back and forth with me, and it just made me feel so much more comfortable.
He is so good about, like, making you feel safe. Mm-hmm. No matter what. Because I didn't know what I was doing either. But like I said, he's like the person that I would trust to be an idiot around. Yeah. Because he's so good at what he does. And I know that he can compensate for me being dumb. And he can, like, tell me, and he'll tell me straight up if it's bad, if like something is bad or not.
And on the performer side of it, it was really interesting because my voice is not like anybody. I don't have the classically trained vocals, and the other 3 women that were in there were, and I felt I was feeling self-conscious because my voice is not that, and it will never be that.
I think there were a couple of people that maybe felt that.
And so it was one of those things where he didn't make me, I think he was so encouraging that it was like, he was like, you're unique in a good way, you know? And he told me that the first time I met him, he was like, you should do this. Like you should do voiceover work because your voice is very unique, that kind of stuff. And it was just, I just appreciated being in the room with somebody who is so encouraging, who's a professional in that industry.
I was going to say, coming from Brendan, that means something.
I think he's a lovely human being.
Anyways, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good talk.
Yeah,
I think it was really interesting about why people do things and why, because people stumble into a lot of things and
they do.
Yeah, some good, some bad.
You only have one life.
Yeah.
Why not go after something like if you want to do that? Like if money is like the most important thing, and
Sure.
and or you
Go to
actually,
Wall Street and be a
yeah, or if you actually be a dick, or if you actually enjoy the numbers, or or working really hard and attaining that like CEO position.
Yep.
Do it. Just do something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Your happiness should really be your drive.
Sometimes the happiness is like, I need a steady paycheck right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like,
that peace of mind that comes with that, for sure.
that's absolutely valid. Like, I would never discredit someone for like not taking a direction.
Yeah.
Or not taking an opportunity because of instability. I would never ever do that. Because life is tricky. Yeah. And different things make people happy. There's people that find a lot of fulfillment in settling down and having a family.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
And that's beautiful. I think that's fantastic.
Stoked for you.
But like, just do it because it makes you happy, not because you grew up being told that this is something that you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And on that note, it's getting closer to Halloween.
Yeah, you're all dressed up as a witch.
Yeah, I had a photo shoot today. So I'm wearing an outfit that looks like Elvira.
If this doesn't tempt you to come to the YouTube channel, I don't know what will, but Tannah's boobs are hanging out.
Yeah, they're hanging out right now. They look really good in this outfit.
They're banging. Bangable boobs.
Woo! Yeah. If you follow me on the Instagrams, you'll see some of the pictures when we post them. But
and that Instagram is
Tannanigans.
Solid.
And You're the Onesie I Want. And The Great Emu War.
The musical.
What is the handle for that?
It's emu war _
Okay.
The musical.
And if you want to follow any of his other projects,
there's so many. Just follow that. That's the important one right now. And then my personal is Jase Venom,
which you should follow that. His content's great. And on that note, do something that makes you happy. I'm Tannanigans.
I'm tired.
Woo!